My name is Susan B. Anthony, and I want to talk to you about suffrage and why it's so important. The word suffrage simply means the right to vote, and for all of my life, it was illegal for women to vote in this country. I'm sure you learned in school that when the colonists won their independence from Great Britain, the founders of our country wanted a government where the people would elect their own officials by voting them into office. They never wanted to be ruled by a king again. So these men wrote a constitution for a kind of government called a democracy. But that constitution only granted voting rights to white men 21 years and older who owned land. That did not include very many people. When only white men could vote, all of the other citizens in the United States had no voice in electing their officials. Thank goodness our Constitution can be changed or amended, and over time, more and more men were given voting rights, regardless of their race and whether or not they owned land. But still, only men could vote, not women. People know my name because I was arrested for voting in Rochester, New York in 1872, when it was still illegal for women to vote. Can you imagine that? Your vote is your very important voice in your government. It takes action, like voting, and sometimes a long time for change to happen. But if you think something is important, you never give up. My motto is, failure is impossible. My aunt worked very hard for women's suffrage. I am Susan B. Anthony II, the grandniece of Miss Susan, and I'm speaking to you today on behalf of the League of Women Voters, which is an organization that was founded in 1920 at the end of the women's suffrage movement. The League believes that voters are a critical part of our democracy. Aunt Susan didn't live to see the 19th Amendment to the Constitution passed in 1920. She doesn't know that it's often referred to as the Susan B. Anthony Amendment, giving voting rights to women. Over time, more and more amendments were added to the Constitution, and eventually the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18. Many people worked very hard so that all Americans can vote. When Aunt Susan voted, it was one way on one day. You went to a polling place and you signed your name in a poll book like this. And then you completed a paper ballot and you put it in a box. I wonder what she would think about all the ways that we can vote today. People will not be signing in poll books for this election. Instead, they will sign in on iPads. Can you imagine how magical this would all seem to my aunt? And yes, there will be paper ballots, but they will be fed into big machines where all the votes are counted electronically. Wouldn't she be pleased to know how carefully all of those votes are recorded using modern technology? Other things would be new for her as well. And now we can vote by mail using an absentee ballot. Also, we have early voting, so we're not limited to one day like Aunt Susan was. I encourage you and all of the adults that you know to explore everything there is to know about voting. By visiting the vote411.org website, or the New York State League of Women Voters website at my.lwv.org/New York State. You can help them check to see if they're registered to vote. You can help them apply for an absentee ballot. You can help them discover their polling place, and you can help them learn the dates for early voting. There's lots of good information on these websites about the upcoming election. What would Aunt Susan think about all this? I think she'd be very impressed. You can help all the adults in your life by exploring these resources and teaching them all there is to know about voting. I encourage you to become involved in the voting process now, because when you reach age 18, your country and your democracy will be counting on you to vote. Remember what Aunt Susan said, your vote is your very important voice in your government.